Hello YouTube, it is Leon and Steve here from the Bad Dice.
Mighty Dice.
Fuck, reset.
Hello.
I've done this so many times. It's bad, like 4 times. I did like Mighty Die, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been a long time since I've been in a back rep. So we forgot the name of the channel.
God. Okay, there we go again. Hey YouTubers, it's Leon and Steve here with another bad rep for the Mighty Die YouTube channel.
Hello.
It is yet again, of course, Steve Cygnar versus Khador. We were playing Spread the Net. Why don't you tell us what you brought this time, Steve? Because you're bringing something extra special and new.
Yeah,
today.
This is a bit of a different one. So I've been playing a lot since the last bat rep, but I haven't done any bat reps. So I've been playing a lot of Striker 2. Been playing Nemo 3 as well, and enough of that people in the meta, in our local meta, are starting to think, oh, we better start doing something about Nemo, especially against trolls, for example. So after we had a tournament in which I got very poorly placed, then I felt like now that would be a good time to try and. I didn't place poorly because anyone teched against Nemo. I placed poorly because I'm poor. A poor player. But yeah, so I thought it was time to try something different. I've been trying Haley 3 and I've had difficulties just getting the best out of that. It just clocks me or I can't work out what I'm supposed to be doing. I gave Kane 3 a try last week and that was pretty good, but I played it probably in a bad matchup. Anyway, so the upshot of it is in this game I am playing Sloan. And I got this. Sloan has been recommended to me by another member of our group, and he just keeps on saying, play Sloan, play Sloan, play. You'll like it, you will like it, play Sloan. And I've been going, and finally I did it, and it's great. It's a great list. So it's Sloan and Sons of the Tempest, and it's hunter spam, so it's 6 hunters, and Sloan's got Reinhold attached for an extra shot. I've got Strange Ways in there. 2 Gun Mage Captain Adepts. I've got a unit of Gun Mages with the attachment. Got a Rifleman Gun Mage. I've got Folk, the new solo. And I've got a unit of Thorn Gun Mages, the Mercenaries. Have I forgotten anything?
I think that's it.
Yeah. So, this list is it seems great. It does have a couple of lists that just counter it, but what it does is the hunters can just kill a heavy a turn, or 2 lights a turn, at 16 inches, which is fantastic. And then the problem with a lot of gunline lists, is that you can get swarmed, like against fast infantry or against fast warjacks or war beasts. So that's why it's in Sons of the Tempest, is because I can take 2 units of Thunderbolt infantry and they push stuff back. So what I can do is I just keep pushing stuff away. Anything that gets within, like, has a 16-inch threat range or whatever, or slower stuff, just keeps getting pushed away, and I just keep getting rounds and rounds of shooting in. Also, there's no problem against infantry. There's so many high-quality shots, even on feet turn. What am I doing with my hand there? Weird. It's like I'm holding a glass of wine, but it's not. It's not there. So I can't take credit for the list. It's an idea that someone else gave me. I'll give him a name check if he wants to. He'll let me know after listening to this, I guess. But it's a very low. It's very squishy list. Like everything, I don't think there's any armor above 16, and that's Strange Ways. Like everything else is armor 15 or lower. Everything has defense 14 apart from Strange Ways or better, but there's not many boxes. Like hunters are like wet paper bags, and everything else is like single wounds. So if anyone gets you in melee, then you're dead. But it's got an extremely strong attrition and an extremely strong scenario play. So I'm pretty excited about the list, like having just finished playing, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yep. But of course, right now that's all theory. So let's see what actually happens.
Oh yeah.
I guess the main question was is how well it can deal with Khador Jack spam, right? Yeah. I'm bringing Karchev. I want to change things up from Harkevich, but still stay with all the jacks that I've painted. So in this case it's Karchev. I did tech against Sloan because I brought a Bokur. heavy tech. with 2 Juggernauts, 2 Marauders, 2 Kodiaks, 2 Fortseers, a unit of Min Mechanics, a unit of Eliminators, Widowmakers, and a Marksman. I rolled highest, so I chose to go first. So Steve chose the side with a wall in his zone. Any other reason why you preferred that side over this one?
So you've got stuff with Pathfinder. Actually, there's not that much forest, but I've got Pathfinder on my jacks, so they kind of like sitting in forests, and partly the wall and the zone. That was kind of a handy thing. Yeah. It was actually quite a balanced table, I guess. You had a trench on your side, I had a hill on my side. Yeah. So maybe we should have had it a bit less balanced than that, but it just seemed like the side that would give me least movement problems, give you the maximum movement problems on your side, because you haven't got like the usual Pathfinder, that bit of water there is bad for you, I guess, considering you'd be taking the first turn and you'd be where you are now up the board. So
I decided to take first turn because again, shooting list typically that's what's nice. Because you don't want to get shot on your first turn, especially with your threat ranges. Of course, I'm also slow Khador, just the further I can get up the board, the better, before things interact and start pushing me out. In terms of deployment, I deploy pretty centrally with a slight focus on my right flank, deploying Karchev behind the house, because I know that there's a lot of different things that can hurt Karchev from very far away.
So this is about a 22-inch threat range. And on feet turn, I can more or less guaranteed to kill Karchev. I don't need line of sight. Like models can't block line of sight. So the house is your best friend really on this list. Yeah. Either that, or you stay far enough away that you can't do anything because all your jacks are too far away from. Yeah. It's still a 12-inch control range on Karchev, isn't it? Yeah. So you kind of have to use that house to your advantage.
Yeah, and then my Widowmakers and Marksmen went on my left flank because they want to harass your zone and potentially contest you from scoring that zone too easily. Anything on your deployment?
Yeah, I skewed because I want to put as much distance between you and me as possible. And then if you look at the whole board, if I'm skewed over this way, then the battle lines will sort of sweep diagonally across the board, and that creates a line of engagement through all of the zones. And because it's such a live scenario, that's kind of what I want. I'm skewed over to one side. I'm away from the one jack that I can't push. So that was I was aware of that at the beginning. I really wanted you to have... I needed to slow you down as much as possible, and I needed to meet you piecemeal. Like, if you just walked everything in a straight line towards me, then I probably wouldn't be able to stop you. But if you just end up giving me a few jacks each turn, then it's a lot more manageable. So skewing is the way to do that.
Yeah. Also, because we forgot to take a photo before we actually started playing, you actually see the end of my first turn here. Mm-hmm. Nothing of note to mention except for me putting the Kodiak within 22 inches of part of your army, which was very unnecessary, as we'll see later. And also one Widowmaker I put within range of some of your jacks, which of course I'll be punished for. But everything else just ran forward as fast as possible, and I put up Road to War, so that in case I manage to take off any infantry models on your side with my Widowmakers, I can push up the line a little bit quicker. Yeah. Although nowhere near as quick as what I'm used to with Kharkiv.
So here's what I did. So as you said, you had your Kodiak was within shooting range of Sloan and 3 or 2 of the hunters. The other hunters on the right hand side there were too far away from everything. And then I had was it my sniper solo? I think he was able to get up within 14 inches of one of your Widowmakers, and then I took that down. So I shot at the Kodiak with lots of shots. Hunters, it's always boosted to damage, so it's dice -4. I won 3 dice, so I wasn't likely to kill it, but I did kill quite a lot of it. I think it was down to 10 boxes or something. So it's just kind of prepping it for the following turn, which was likely to be my feet turn anyway.
Yeah, that really wasn't worth the 1 extra inch that I put him forward.
No. And then the right hand hunters just ran through the forest and just stayed outside of your threat ranges. couldn't get to the zone, but I can get into the zone on the next turn with walking if I need to. And then I was a little bit uncareful, so some of the solos went up on the hill. The sniper repositioned, so he's now behind the house and he won't be visible for the rest of the game. The gun mages are all outside of your charge ranges, your shooting ranges of your Widowmakers, except your one Widowmaker who's there hiding up behind the house.
The marksman, yeah.
So I did think of that, and I put my unit of gun mages outside of his range, but I put the thorn mages in the forest, so they all got stealth. So that was all fine, but I did put Bastion Folk inside of his range, and it wasn't until I started activating my Gun Mage Captain that I realised that was a bit of a mistake. So the Gun Mage Captain ended up with line of sight block to him behind the Hunters, but Folk wasn't as fortunate. So yeah, just aware that I want to start scoring on my flag on my next turn. It doesn't look likely I can contest your flag, but that comes into the game a bit later. But that could have been a bit of a mistake. I should have really had one of my Hunters within running range of contesting your flag. I probably still would have been quite safe from any of your shooting and things like that. Oh yeah, and one of my Gun Mage Captains is in the zone. Don't know. Oh, he's the one. Is he the one that shot?
I think.
Or did he try and shoot and miss or something? Did I kill 2 Widowmakers then?
No, the sniper missed, I think. And,
or did the sniper run? Anyway, either the Gun Mage Captain or the sniper, and now he's behind the wall in the zone, which again wasn't really necessary. But I felt like behind the wall he's like relatively safe from your Widowmakers because their rat isn't good enough. He's more than 14 inches away from him anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just staying away and waiting to shoot you on the next turn, basically.
Then going to my second turn, like said, the marksman had a nice opportunity to take down Falk. I already saw him spraying down a couple of jacks and then giving the hunters a damage bonus.
Only one of them, because they're not magical weapons natively. So Strange Ways can give one of them magical weapons, but it's Sloan is the thing.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
But at least I could.
And all the gun mages would then be power 12, so that would probably be a little bit more chip damage here and there, which actually would have been huge
against these guys there. Yeah. So yeah, took off him. Unfortunately, I forgot the Road to War trigger. I could have moved Jack a bit farther forward, but I forgot. I don't have that much experience with Karchev. I think it's my third game now, so these things still happen. Then on the left side, I tried to take down your solo there, but didn't manage because he was sitting on defense 18, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. But it moved the eliminators in the zone, trying to contest them for later. But I know that in this particular game they aren't as good as they usually are, I would say, considering you ignore stealth. And despite them having a fairly okay defense against shooting, it's also not super high until they reach melee. So they try to hold down that flank a bit and harass. And over on the left side, the Marauder and the Devastator, they tag team on the left side, so they hope to go for that zone and shut it down. Karchev hides behind the house, like I said. It's going to be his best friend throughout the game. He's going to walk up and down on this side of the house. Stupidly enough, I move up my Forger on my left flank with the idea to give focus out later in the game, and I forget that I should have put him on the flag. So already right there, I forgo that first point of the game, which is pretty stupid, considering I've been losing on scenario quite frequently. Luckily, I managed to have 3 mechanics close enough to the Kodiak that was shut down to repair all of his system boxes and bring it up to a decent amount of points again. So that was quite nice. And in the center, you see that I have a little bit of a jack jam going on with 4 jacks pushing through the center, and the Juggernaut kind of flanking and holding down one zone on my right side.
So that water is working as I expected, and it's stopping you from just getting all your guys through that gap.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a traffic jam. But yeah, I'm of course quite slow. I'm already quite happy I made it this far, but of course, considering your movement here, where you're positioning, it's a perfect feat turn for your whole army just to unleash.
Yep.
But I really don't think with your ranges and with the fact that I have to come forward, there's anything I could really do to mitigate this. I think it's just something that...
Yeah, it was 22 inches on the Hunters, and they're the ones who do the damage against Jacks.
Yeah.
So what can you do? Just sit
Just
22 inches away? No.
Just take it.
Yeah. So I think you did the right thing. Certainly on the left, it's perfect because I haven't got anything over there. Like I maybe get a couple of shots off on one of your jacks, but I certainly can't take down the Devastator at armor 23, and I definitely can't take both of them down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's my turn, and like I said, it was going to be a feat because you got more than 2 jacks within shooting range of everything, so it made sense. And it was kind of like a damage management problem because I got your Kodiak pretty quickly back, like with Sloan, I think, shot the Kodiak, got him pretty quickly down to 1 box.
Yeah.
But when he was on 1 box, I didn't need to use like a whole shot of a hunter to finish him off. So I was trying to get that 1 box as efficiently as possible so that I could do the maximum damage to all the rest of your jacks. And because of that, it took me a little bit of time to get that last box off the Kodiak, but he went down in the end. And then I had the chance to focus on your unpainted jack there, which was a Marauder, and the Juggernaut who's sitting in the zone. And I managed to take down both of those as well. So the pre-damaged Kodiak, and then two regular jacks. So it was a pretty brutal feat turn.
Yeah.
More or less halved your jack power if you don't count your caster. And then with the rest of the guys, I just pushed all your stuff back out of the zone. So all your stuff that would have been, ready to melee on the following turn, then you just push it away. So these Thorn mages, they got 2 shots each, both with pushback. So one of those on their own can kind of neutralise a Khador Jack for a couple of turns probably.
Yeah.
And then the gun mages, So I think maybe I knocked one down even, or was that the next turn?
That was next turn.
So that on the right, I'm kind of dominating the scenario and attrition on that side. Got my jack in the zone there just to make sure I scored on the zone. I can't score on the center zone, so I didn't bother trying. But that was also a mistake. So I should have put one of my jacks in there. Or did I put a jack in there? I did put a jack in there. He's behind the house.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
The hunter. Yeah.
So the hunter and the sniper are standing next to each other behind the house, and that turns out to be a mistake as well. And then over on the left hand side, the hunter's just towing into the zone. He's outside of charge range of both of your jacks, so I thought I was safe. Yeah. So at this point, I wasn't considering Road to War. So I thought all of my stuff was safe from all of your charges, which turned out not to be the case. So Road to War is great because the Widowmakers can trigger it. And then you create a chain of death, especially against so much infantry. Like you can more or less get a +3 movement on everything, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
So if I'd been a bit more aware of that, then I probably could have saved you from doing any charges actually. So I needed to be more than 11 inches away from everything just to be safe.
Yeah.
And I could have been a bit more careful with my troops, so that they couldn't be used to trigger that. Yeah. So I think I got a couple of points.
3 points.
3 points. Yeah, my flag and both of the square zones. But then you got and because you didn't have your
my
dude there,
the flag,
so you didn't score. So I got 3 points, which again on a live scenario like this is pretty strong way to start a game.
Yeah, I think after this turn we were both just thinking like, what the fuck just happened? Right, taking out 3 jacks, pushing away the jacks that could have engaged you in my following turn and scoring 3 points. We were like, oh well, this is going to be a disastrous game. Yeah, if it continues like this.
It did feel like pretty one-sided, but again, I didn't take into account Road to War.
Yeah,
that's the key spell for Karchev here.
Yeah, so at least because of that, I had some game in my following turn. So I believe the Widowmaker started and triggered Road to War by taking down the captain, the solo.
Yeah. So you managed to avoid the wall by moving up into the zone, which enabled you to hit him.
Yeah, and that then allowed my my Marauder to charge your hunter in the zone on the left side.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That was pretty big.
Yeah, and he can then do his combo smite and push him out of the zone.
Yeah, it was 1 inch, wasn't it?
Yeah, I wrote the 1 inch, but
because I was out of the zone and you could still hit me with the rest of your attacks.
So 1 inch was enough, luckily, because he did just tow it, did a bunch of damage, but that wasn't the main thing. Think I took out a couple of system boxes already with just that initial
He took out his axe
power
and
20,
his Cortex.
46, 3d6.
So he still had his movement and his gun.
Yeah. Then I also moved my Fort Seer on the flag, which I should have done last turn, so that already guaranteed me 2 points this turn. You see Karchev kind of shimmying to the left. He wants to stay away from the hunters that come down on my right flank. Then because the Devastator could charge the sniper anyway. Like he had enough range to charge him.
That's right.
So he did have to. So I did want to kill him. So he had to open up and lower himself to armor 19.
All of this, which is behind the house.
Yeah, it's just behind the house. Yeah, but because he kills the sniper, that gives another road to war trigger to the Juggernaut that was standing on the right side of the house, who then charges the hunter.
Yeah.
But there, I believe I missed my my ice attack, which is also dumb because I could have actually given a focus from the fortune on the right. So he could have actually used that to boost, which I forgot. But for now, at least he's standing in the way, and he's much closer to your lines than he was before. So not all bad. And then I chose to run my Kodiak towards your lines with the idea of swapping Road to War for Battle Charge, so that if anything here on that side of the table moves, also knowing that you probably want to take out the Marauder on the left side. My whole center basically gets counter charges for free, potentially jamming up line of sight lines and then killing some infantry models. At least that was the idea there. And then on the right, you see me put a couple of mechanics in the zone, preventing you from scoring this turn, and hopefully also in your turn. And also the Forger is towing that zone on the right that the hunters are in.
Yeah.
So in this case, I score 2 points, and you score.
I still get 1 for my flag.
Yeah, 1 point. So you're still safely ahead.
So I needed 3 points to win on my turn, and I spent a lot of time trying to work out how to do it, and it was quite difficult because you got an engaged hunter in my zone, in my left-hand zone there, and then I had to get something in there to score, and then I wanted to stop Karchev from scoring the center zone, but I also needed to contest your flag, and the problem was I had 2 hunters within running range, one of which had a Cortex out, so he couldn't do anything, so only one of them could have run in to contest your flag and was close enough, and there was your Devastator was in the way, and a Juggernaut would have given him a free strike and probably killed him or done enough damage to stop me from doing my plan. So I needed to get rid of that Marauder from my zone. I needed to get that Devastator out of the way. I needed to get the Juggernaut out of the equation as well, and then I needed to run. So it was quite a little puzzle to unpick. And later in the game, I actually realised that there was something I could have done which would have completely solved the whole problem without any issues at all. So if I had thought of that, I won't say what it was yet, but if I had thought of that at this point, then that would have been the end of the game. Unfortunately, I didn't. So what I did was I was very stupid. I thunderbolted the Marauder, and I didn't give myself enough thunderbolts to get him out of the zone. But at least he disengaged the hunter, and then the hunter was able to walk into the zone. Then the problem was, like, the Devastator was actually he was open because he'd made some attacks, so I was able to kill him, but he's not able to be pushed. So I had to devote a lot of resources to killing him rather than just pushing him out of the zone. And the same with this guy here, that's actually a Warcaster, isn't it?
That's Karchev.
Karchev, yeah. So he's in the zone as well. So he's scoring, but I even neglected to leave anything in the zone in order to contest. Oh no, sorry, that was the following turn. In this turn, I actually did. I left that hunter in the zone, so he was contesting.
Strange Ways, right? Strange Ways
was up. He did a spray on 2 jacks, and he managed to disrupt one of them, which was super satisfying. And then basically the rest of the gun mages all did thunderbolts. So you got 2 knocked out. So your Kodiak and your Juggernaut are both knocked down.
Which is actually very annoying because, like I said before, like I put them there with battle charged on, so if anything moved, I was able to make counter charges.
Mhm.
And then the first thing you did in the turn was knocking both of them down with
Yeah.
two times rolling a 2d6 and having critical knockdown on both of them.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh great, now I can literally not counter charge anything anymore.
So it's nice to have so many shots because the crit knockdown's not that likely.
Yeah.
But if I'm hitting you on double ones, that's pretty cool because that gives me 5 other possible crits. So the odds are the best they could be, and I got lots of shots, so it worked out in the end. And it means this Kodiak is knocked down, disrupted, and hundreds of miles away from anything that matters.
But the knockdowns only come from the Thorn Gun Mages, right?
No, they've all got Thunderbolt with crit knockdown.
Okay, so
all of the gun mages. Then your zone, I just murdered everything and pushed the Forge Seer out of the zone.
Yeah.
So like that knockdown is not even. It's just it's crazy. Sorry, the push is crazy because you don't even have to worry about doing any damage rolls. Like, I wasn't likely to damage anyway. But as long as you hit maybe 3 with Rat 7, then they're out of the equation anyway. Unfortunately, I didn't leave my hunters on the right hand side close enough to all of your stuff to affect anything sort of dramatically. So that was a bit of a mistake maybe, but
well, it was also because there was first a Juggernaut you want to stay away from, and then the Kodiak to stay away from.
True, yeah,
right?
yeah. So in the end, I managed to do some decent attrition. So the Devastator's gone. Your stuff's knocked down and not really able to do anything, but I just couldn't get anything towards your flag to contest. So what I realised later was that what I should have done is I could have walked up the damaged Cortex, or I could have walked up any hunter, in fact, or run them around. And although they didn't have enough damage and enough movement to get within 4 inches, then I just Thunderbolt them in the back. And then that pushes them, even if it knocks them down, they're still going to contest. And then that would push them into the contesting area for your flag. So that's what I did later in the game, but if I'd thought of it this turn, then that would have been the end of the game.
Sneaky.
So I scored 2 points, and I stopped you from scoring. And you scored 1 point on this turn.
Also,
worth
mentioning again is that with all of his gun mages, he shot my Kodiak way back. So this Kodiak is probably the most bullied Jack in Khador history because it's the second time he's being pushed back, and now he's all the way basically where he started at the end of turn 1.
Yeah.
So, and he's also knocked down and he's disrupted. So he's not feeling it today.
I wasn't likely to get the disruption. I was lucky.
Yeah.
But it's super annoying.
Then going to my next turn, I do feel that I have some game now because my previous turns, Road to War, brought me a little bit closer to your main line, so I could actually engage some things here and there and do some attacks. So that was nice. That was a little bit more than what I expected after the horrible second turn.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to take out the hunter on the left flank, so in your zone. Mm-hmm. I moved up Widowmaker's last turn, but then I'm dumb enough to just attack him with the Marauder first, so I'm engaging him, and I missed my attacks, so it actually didn't cause any more damage to an already quite crippled
5 boxes left
hunter. Yeah, so that was unfortunate.
Death 14 is great.
Yeah, mistake in activating. I still tried to hit him with the Widowmakers, but they didn't manage.
No, you. One of them killed, or rather 2 of them shot at the gun mages.
Oh yeah,
because you saw that it was difficult to hit them.
Yeah, I think the first
one of them aimed,
tried,
or 2 of them aimed.
Yeah, the first tried and actually hit my own model, and then the other 2 said screw this and took out some gun mages, which again procced Road to War at this point.
Did you have Road to War up this time? I don't think you did.
I did Battle Charge on. Yeah, that's true. Nothing happened with that. Forger just sitting there scoring. There's no jacks anywhere close, and I can't move him away from there. So that's just something that happened. Karchev stays behind the house. Feed also this turn, hoping for some more damage, which was an extra unfortunate that the Marauder didn't manage to hit your hunter. Because I could have easily taken out.
He would have been dead.
Yeah, taken him out. He did have both his arm systems down, so that's also why I had trouble hitting him, despite boosting both attacks, needing a 7. So it's a bit unfortunate. In the center, I had a Juggernaut, basically versus Strange Ways and a Hunter. that you put there to contest, and I managed to take out both of them again feed turn, and I gave him a bunch of focus, meaning that I'll score that zone this turn, which kind of relieves some pressure off of the scenario score right now because I'm really down on points. And then in the center, of course, Kodiak was heavily screwed over with the disruption and the knockdown, but he just moves over a little bit to be in the zone again. But again, with all the pushes that if you're towing the zone, that's not going to stay like that very long, but at least he's contesting your hunters from scoring, and also the forge share is moving up to again contest that zone. So at the end of the turn, I go up 2 points, center zone and my flag,
and I got one again because of my flag.
You get one, so I'm slowly catching up by contesting and scoring some points on my own flag.
Yeah. So sort of at this point, we're both getting a bit tight on the clock. I think I had about 9 minutes left. Can you even see it on there?
No, it's just out.
No, that's at the end of my turn anyway.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of we got a few turns to go. I think there's 3 turns left in the game. I think this is turn 4 or so. Yeah, but because we both got such little clock left, it's going to be more about the points. And if you can get ahead on points because I got less clock than you, if you get ahead on points, then you win. And if I get ahead on points, then you've got a very small amount of time to try and get ahead on points or to win some other way, by attrition or whatever. So really, I was just trying to save clock at this point. So I did some pushes on your Juggernaut to get it away from my army. I didn't get it knocked down. I did get it knocked down, didn't I? Yeah, I got another knockdown on that one. Cleared out the zone again and then positioned my hunters so that your Kodiak couldn't possibly charge both of them. So I'll still be contesting over there. And also I was just did enough pushes to get I think I killed the Forge Seer and got the Kodiak out of the zone and killed all your mechanics as well. So I got a score on the right-hand zone. I couldn't get your Marauder out of the left-hand zone, although he's very damaged. I just didn't have enough damage to do that. I made sure to contest. Oh no, this is where I made the mistake of not contesting the center zone, isn't it?
Yeah.
This turn, so I could have very easily contested that. Big mistake, but I genuinely didn't think of it. But this is the turn where I used my pushes with my Thunderbolts to get my hunter into contesting zone of your flag, which is such a useful thing to have. And I've realised that if I'm willing to risk the knockdowns, then I can extend the ranges of my hunters by a ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
Like, actually, if you've got a hunter on the deployment line, then if you use pushes, then you can probably threaten the whole board.
Which is a nice trick. Knock down, right?
Yeah.
You can even just keep pushing and knock down hunter.
Yeah, I was just talking about the threat range extension, though, because they shoot 16 inches. So it's actually possible to do, although the hunters lost advanced deployment, it would actually be possible to shoot into the deployment zone on turn 1 if you wanted to. I don't think it's good, but yeah. Anyway, so that's why that hunter's all the way over there. So he ran up, he was 1 inch away, and then I thunderbolted him with a 1 inch thunderbolt, and he just got into contest. And then I clocked over. I don't think I tried to do much damage, apart from clearing out your zone. Then I kind of noticed I had like a minute left, or less than a minute left, so I thought I better clock over. Yeah. So I contested your zone, scored on your zone, contested my zone, scored my flag, contested your flag, but didn't contest the center. So I got 2 points and you got 1 point.
Yeah.
So my lead got extended a little bit, and I think you had about 9 minutes left or something like that, or was it even less than that?
No, it was a little bit less.
Was it 5 minutes at this point?
So it looks like at the end of this turn, end of turn 4, you have 9 points. I had 6 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't need that many points to just win on scenario.
Yeah. So at this point, you're trying to get my guys out of the zone so you can score enough to equal the scenario.
Yeah.
Which would then force me to try and attrition you. But yeah. So what? Yeah. How did that go?
Then, so on my turn, again, I know you're running down on clock, so I'm secretly hoping that you'll clock yourself before anything else happens. I
was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, but I don't have that much clock either, despite having 8 models to play with. So on the left hand side, my Marauder finally manages to take down your Hunter. So that means that the zone is finally up for scoring. On my flag, I'm trying to take down your Hunter with my Forger, do some decent damage.
I originally wanted to move Karchev over there, but you can't skip the potential of scoring the zone.
Yeah, I did almost move him, and then decided to just leave him in that zone.
Yeah.
I think one little mistake is that I could actually have used the Bokor to do some extra damage to the Hunter. But at this point, because I thought the game was so close to ending, I didn't really bother.
I think maybe you were doing other things, and then it was already. Then you were already very low on clock at that point.
Yeah, but it could have actually mattered considering the game still went on for a couple turns. So let's keep it as being contested. In the center zone, there's really only the Bokor and Karchev, so I can easily score that zone, and then Widowmakers take out a couple of gun mages there at the top, right above the house, so thinning the ranks. So that's going nicely. My Juggernaut charges all the way towards your back lines. For no specific reason. I could probably have just saved that particular activation and saved myself some clock time.
You should have contested my flag.
Yeah, that wasn't particularly a useful action. I just took out one guy with a big X attack.
Yeah.
And on the right side, I just try to harass you again, running my Kodiak deep into the zone, hoping that it's deep enough so you can't actually shoot him out next turn. So that means I score 2 points, the center zone and your zone, and you score 1 point from your flag, and everything else is contested. And then it ends with me having just a bit over 1 minute on my clock, and you start your turn with 1 minute and 8 seconds.
Yeah, so it was a very quick turn. Didn't really try and do any damage, but got that gun mage to contest both zones. I also ran up, I would spread out the gun mages and ran them into your zone, so it'd make it very difficult for you to then score on your zone. A Hunter's just sitting there, not doing anything but contesting your flag. And my zone, I just sat you in there. So I just stopped you from scoring anything, but I scored my 1 point on my flag, so it still extends my lead. And then I clocked over. I think I had 5 seconds left or something at that point.
You had something with 10 plus.
Right, so it must have been 15 seconds. So the idea was that you had it was turn 7 at this point, so you had 1 turn left in order to try and win, but I was ahead by
No, this was turn 6. We said one more turn where, it was still
that was the end of turn 6, and you still only had 1 turn left.
Yeah.
So I was at something like 13 points or something.
11 versus 8.
11 versus 8, so I would still score my flag unless you contested it.
Yeah.
And I would still contest all of your stuff unless you killed my stuff. So unless you cleared all my stuff out and contested my flag, then I win.
Yeah.
So that was it, really.
Well, I tried my best to still kill some stuff on my turn, which is then turn 7, I believe. So I killed your mage hunter that was contesting both your zone as well as the central zone. So that gave me 1 extra point. I did not manage to kill the hunter, so that's very unfortunate. Again, the Bokor could have come in handy there if I had positioned him better in previous turns. So that cost me a point. And the Juggernaut tried to take out, clear the other zone, but you can only kill 1 gun mage at a time, and there's still 1 gun mage there contesting the central zone, so Karchev cannot score there. And also I clock over with just 12 seconds left on my clock.
And then all I did was put Reinhold into my zone.
Yeah, with 3 seconds, you just ran Reinhold into...
just stops you getting that point. I mean, it didn't matter at that point. But left myself in 2 seconds.
And then the only option I still had on my turn was hopefully shoot on Reinhold. But I didn't even manage to hit, and you were ahead on points anyway, and it would have been end of turn 7.
Yeah.
So that automatically makes it a win for Sloan based on end of turn 7 and having more points.
Yeah. So,
actually, I did clock myself because I was trying to shoot down the Reinhold. But
because we stopped the clock and we discussed what you should be doing.
Yeah.
And then there wasn't really realistically it was possible for you to win, but you had to score 4 points, I think.
Yeah. So
with 8 seconds left, it's not realistic.
13 points versus 9 points, turn 7 and clocked. So it really came down to all the last minute things.
Yeah. So I was very impressed with the Sloan lists. Like I said, I had a bit of help with the with the idea of how it works and putting it together. And having the Thorn mages in there is the only way that I can fit in that many pushes with the same points and still get the 2 extra solos for free and still have 6 hunters in the list. I could take out one of the hunters and then just have a full unit of gun mages instead of the Thorn mages, but only having the extra hunter is great, and it only sacrifices 1 push.
Yeah.
So it seems like, I mean, there's obviously some tech in the game that stops pushing, but the attrition is so strong. So it was interesting to see if it could stand up to 8 jacks.
And hey, it can.
And it makes Karchev play scared because he'll get assassinated if he shows his face. And it takes out a jack a turn as long as I'm not distracted by trying to optimize some stupid thing.
Yeah. Although there was one moment in the game where Sloan was 15 inches away from Karchev.
Yeah.
And he has a 14-inch threat range in melee.
Yeah,
so
I didn't take that into account, so that was a bit sloppy.
Yeah.
But
That
I certainly
would have
made a
been
lot of
nice
mistakes, and I certainly shouldn't be clocking myself with this list.
Yeah, neither should
Because
I.
it's quite easy to play. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'll certainly do a few more games. I don't know if they'll go up on the channel because I feel like I'm getting less out of doing bat reps than I used to. Like I feel like there's a lot more clarity about why I've lost or why I've won in a game. So bat reps are still fun to do, but I certainly haven't got many done in the last few months. And I've also been trying to concentrate on painting. So the last tournament I played fully painted, which was cool. But I've lost my painting mojo, so maybe I'll do a few more bat reps. Depends on how many games I get in the future and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it was a cool game, and it was interesting to see how it plays out.
Turn 2, we both thought that it was going to be a super short game.
It was Road to War. That was the only reason it wasn't a walkover.
Yeah, that eventually became much more of an interesting game, back and forth on scenario, probably with a slightly better play from my part and better planning. The points probably could have been a bit tighter. I think that this ending was still quite.
I finished 4 points ahead, so I made a mistake on contesting yours. And I made a mistake on contesting the center zone as well. And you didn't contest. You didn't score on your flag for 1 turn. Yeah. So that would have made. So if we hadn't made scenario mistakes, then I would have been not another point ahead probably.
Yeah. But then I also think that even if scenario, or you have a less live scenario, if you just keep focusing on killing jacks, considering you destroyed 3 on your feet turn.
1 was already damaged, but it was quite good.
Probably attrition would have gone your way if you hadn't focused so much on the objective.
Yeah.
And you didn't spend any time on hunting down Karchev, which would have been quite easy as well, considering your mobility. So I think really you still have a couple of options in the list that will make it a lot harder for me in the future if you have more practice and you prioritize things differently. And I don't quite know what I can do with this list. Despite of course playing better in general, but there's just so much stuff that threatens me. With this list, so it's a head scratcher. I'll have to find some help on the interwebs to see if people have some good tips on what to play into Sloan.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's cool.
A hard matchup.
Like this, the idea of a heavier turn without any effort, and then just pushing everything else that is threatens me backwards. So like there'll be feats or whatever that stop things from being pushed, and there's some jacks that are just push resistant. But they're not necessarily the heavy jack spam lists. So unless those 2 things coincide, then it makes, because you either do one thing or the other or both. So it makes it. I mean, obviously I'll be looking out for what could counter this list, but it seems like a strong list, and it seems like something that not a lot of people are playing, so not a lot of people will be teching for it. So not like Nemo, where just everyone's God, Cygnar, okay, I need my electro immune list now. So
whenever you switch away from a list that I hate, like Nemo 3. I feel slightly relieved, and then something that's even worse just fills its place. I think I much prefer to play against Nemo 3 than Sloan now.
Yeah. Well, Nemo always has problems against Harkovich because of the clouds, because he can electroleap through clouds, but he can't hurt the armor as badly then.
Yeah.
But this list doesn't care about clouds.
No, doesn't care about much.
No. We'll see where it goes.
To be continued.
Maybe I'm a bit too excited about it, and maybe I'm missing some of its flaws, but we'll see. It seems to be good against things like Una because of the stealth griffins. It just kills griffins at long range. It's not bad. It's pretty good against Cygnar, in fact, because it's not relying on electro damage and it's very good at long range shooting. Probably has problems against an Arcane Shielded Colossal, for example.
Fair enough.
So stuff like that, but yeah, we'll see. Alright, anyway, we've talked for too long, so 45 minutes already.
Wow.
Alright, see you on the next one.
Ciao.